Hello everyone, and welcome to another week of gaming news and updates, where I will be highlighting all the top stories of the week and talking about them in some detail. With that in mind, I'm Matt, this is Broski Games, and this is your weekly gaming news update. First up this week, we got a look at the new reboot movie of Resident Evil with Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. A few released screenshots of the movie characters and casting. It's a brief look at who will be starring in the movie, with the promise of a retelling of the highly popular Capcom franchise. We get to see Claire Redfield and Leon S. Kennedy in one screen, and Jill Valentine and Chris Redfield in another. These images, while looking awesome, have received some criticism from fans already, with some implying it looks like a low-budget cosplay. As this is the first few images from the movie, it's hard to judge it too harshly. The proof will be in the viewing when it arrives this November. Next, it does feel like I'm talking about No Man's Sky every other month, with big announcements coming thick and fast, and this week is no different. No Man's Sky is coming at us again with another big update titled Frontiers. This update focuses on base building and expanding upon the mechanics to such a degree that you can create settlements with your own alien inhabitants. After you download the new patch, every occupied planet will contain a new settlement that you can apply to become the overseer of. Then things open up to governing town planning, treasury managing, policy and conflict resolutions. Each settlement is procedurally generated with unique layouts, buildings and colours. So build your town full of settlers and aliens and try to keep them all happy. To achieve this, you'll need new parts and resources, which is why you have access to hundreds of new parts to build the perfect settlement. Now, it's been over a year since Ellie's defining journey in The Last of Us Part 2, and developer Naughty Dog have been very quiet working away on a new project. This being a multiplayer standalone game set in The Last of Us universe, described as a cinematic experience between players. And this is all the information we have on it so far. A significant amount of job listings were advertised recently by Naughty Dog, focusing heavily on those multiplayer roles, with one being described as an economy designer. This gives a suggestion that it will be a live service game with regular updates. We will keep you updated on this as much as we can. Deathloop is a mere 12 days away from release on PlayStation 5, and we have received a shiny new trailer from Arcane showing off the capabilities of the DualSense controller, which has really whet our appetite for the game. These being the adaptive triggers, with each gun feeling very different on the triggers when fired, and in the heat of battle there is a feature where the gun will jam, causing the trigger to become insanely stiff and simulate the feeling of a jammed trigger finger, all adding to the immersion of the game. Haptic feedback works as the footsteps of the player changing depending on speed and texture of the ground, and the controller's speaker acts as your handheld radio, so only the radio audio comes with the controller, giving you more immersion to the idea that you are carrying separate equipment in the real world too. Coming to PlayStation 5 on the 14th of September 2021, we don't have long to wait until we get our hands on this awesome next-gen title. After months of quiet from the gaming giant, PlayStation have broken their silence and announced a PlayStation Showcase, offering a look into the future of PlayStation, which seems pretty vague, but we have heard very little from PlayStation Studios for quite some time, so we're expecting to hear about some of the studio's big names and some possible new announcements. The showcase is going to be 40 minutes of complete PlayStation goodness, however it has been made very clear that there is no new news about the next-gen PlayStation VR, and it will not be talked about at this event. After almost no presence in the summer of gaming this year, we're expecting this to be the big event for Sony to pull out all the stops and show us why it's the best time to be a PlayStation 5 owner. Next, we've heard on a number of occasions that the upcoming Bethesda developed game Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5, which Xbox and Bethesda have been very quick to dispel, and yet again this week they have issued another statement reciting the same thing, because fans have taken a few spoken words from Pete Hines, the Senior Vice President of Global Marketing, and seemingly twisted it to get the desired outcome to stir up another round of rumours. This time, however, Aaron Greenberg has weighed in on the conversation to give utter clarification that supports Pete Hines, saying, Starfield will be launching exclusively on Xbox Series X and S and PC on November the 11th, 2022. Game Pass members can play it day one as well on Xbox and PC. I know we have said this all before, and none of this has changed or will change. It seems PlayStation fans are seemingly rather angry at the idea that they will not be getting access to Bethesda's next Space Age universe on their home console. This week, EA decided to show off a little of their Dead Space Remake. While not exactly a full gameplay reveal, and only short segments of footage of an early pre-production development build running in the Frostbite engine to see, it's a step in the direction of transparency between game developers and fans. The developers were keen to stress that this is far from the final iteration of the game, and instead just a very early look at what they're up to with development. Having the goal of enriching the original experience of the game, it's clear to see that the game is in good hands. Everything about the Dead Space Remake seems to be coming along nicely. While it's too early to have a definitive idea of what the final release will be like, it's been great to have some insight into the game's development. Now, it has to be said, the Xbox Game Pass is fantastic value for money, with access to over 100 plus games at a time for one low monthly price, and it's not hard to see why it's become so popular with Xbox and PC gamers alike. However, there is a very small majority of people who love it so much that they're considering naming their child after it. During a Gamescom 2021 livestream earlier last week, Xbox Games marketing manager Aaron Greenberg jokingly advised fans not to call their child Game Pass. This being a thought because of a couple who named their baby Dovahkiin and were rewarded with free Bethesda games for life. However, here it seems it will not gain you any benefit from Xbox, which some have been speculating would result in a lifetime subscription to the service, but at this time you are being advised not to do so. Think before you act, people. And there we have it, folks. That's your weekly gaming news update. Whether it be the excitement of PlayStation's showcase next week, No Man's Sky's big update Frontier update, a look into the next Resident Evil movie, a quick look into the Dead Space remake, or news of Naughty Dog's multiplayer game in development. Or perhaps you're just excited to get your hands on Deathloop and its innovative DualSense features. It's certainly been an extraordinary week. As always, thank you for taking the time to check out what's new in the gaming world, and I will see you all again next week for much more. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button so you can stay up to date with all the latest here at Broski Games. I've been Matt. Bye.